The United Nations is warning of severe consequences for Africa. Both Ukraine and Russia are key exporters of grain, with Russia the first and Ukraine the fourth largest exporters of wheat in the world. SABC News correspondent Stuart Smith reports from Moscow.
Estimates suggest Russia-Africa trade has doubled since 2015 to around $20 billion a year. But the IMF is warning that makes food, fuel and the tourism industry vulnerable to current events. Russia's limiting exports of grains to ensure domestic supply, and shipping from Russia through the Black Sea has become risky and expensive. That's bad for African countries that rely heavily on Russia for their supply of wheat. More than a third of South Africa's wheat comes from Russia. 24 other African countries import more than a third as well. But some countries are even more vulnerable. 11 African nations get over half of their wheat from Russia. Benin imports 100%. As wheat prices surge, the African Development Bank is worried food shortages are near. For countries that have imposed sanctions on Russia, a threat from ex-President Dmitry Medvedev. He says to those so-called unfriendly countries that Russian imports and exports of food should stop altogether. He called food Russia's quiet weapon. But the export of Russia's literal weapons are also going to be affected. Russia is Africa's largest supplier of military kit, but sanctions on Russia's defense industry will make purchasing new equipment and repairing old equipment harder or even impossible. A problem for countries like Nigeria, which relies heavily on Russia for helicopters and high-tech sensors. For exporters in Africa, trouble too. Shipping is more expensive as giants like Maersk refuse to dock in Russia, and international payments to many Russian banks have become impossible. Stuart Smith, SABC News, Moscow.